everyone, it's Emily and welcome to my channel. Today I'm building a tiny house, and actually I feel like it didn't start off looking so tiny, but the inside of it is very small. I think that it's only, actually no, it's like four tiles wide, I think the main bulk of it ends up being, but the outside of this house goes through a lot of changes at the beginning. This is the first house that I built in a while using a reference picture, because with tiny houses especially, I feel like I'm just going to make them all look the same, like typical tiny house in my head, but I wanted like a beachy tiny house, and I found this picture on Pinterest. I think I'm actually going to link it in the description. I always say that I find stuff on Pinterest, but I don't usually like link my reference pictures just because I feel like it's not important, or it ends up looking pretty similar to the house. I feel like you'd be like, oh yeah, that's how she made that. But this one's kind of cool just because it's a different looking house, and it's not supposed to be like overly modern. It's kind of supposed to be more like rustic, but it did have very big windows, so I want you to see kind of like where I got that idea from and kind of like how that played into how the build came together. But yeah, this house, man, it looks nothing like it does. This is probably the closest it looks to the end result right now, but we go through a few changes. Like I said, with the windows, I end up going for like the blue ones with the white. You'll see in a second. I think I'm about to change them all, but yeah, this house went through quite a lot, and I tried to make it 3 wide in both the sections of the house, but we ended up having to extend it because I couldn't fit a double bed, and I wanted this to be a house that you could feasibly have 2 Sims in, and I just couldn't do that with the way that the layout was for the bedroom section of the house. Usually tiny houses are just 1 story and they're very small, and this is a small house, but like they're usually just 1 story, and if they do have like a second floor type of thing, it's usually just like a loft that's very much open to the living area. But obviously we can't really do that in The Sims, and when you look at the actual house, this is why I want to link it, but it had like the exact same shape that this house has pretty much. So that was pretty cool, and I ended up having to put an extra window just because of the way that it came out in the picture. I wanted to mimic it as much as possible. It obviously couldn't be exact, but I feel like I got the closest that I could. And now we're finally starting to get the sense of what the house is actually going to look like. I felt like those blue windows just made it look way too modern, and that was not what I was trying to go for. I wanted it to be more like rustic beachy, not like modern beach house. So that's what we ended up with. And I put some sand around the house, which, I don't know, me and terrain paint have like a love-hate relationship. I feel like it's necessary to use, but I also feel like I don't know how to use it well. So I don't know, I have some issues with terrain paint and that type of thing, but I think that I got it good enough in the end. And I also didn't landscape this house too much because I really wanted this house, like, the picture, please check out the reference picture, just because so many of the reasons why I did certain things with the outside is just because that's kind of how I was inspired by the picture. But with the landscaping on the outside of the house, there really isn't any. It's just kind of like supposed to be on the beach, I guess, and I tried to recreate that by just having some trees behind the house, but nothing's really in front of the house. And I also put in this little like fire pit thing, even though there's like, there's the get-together fire pit like right down the beach from this house, because I'm building this on like the Windenburg Island area. So if you put this on the same lot that I did, you would have like access to the beach and a fire pit, but it's like the get-together fire pit, which is just for hanging out, and now you have a nice outdoor retreat fire pit on your front porch for making s'mores and stuff. Can you do that in the big fire pit? I don't know. I have no idea, but you can sit around this one that's on your front porch. So there's that. The bedroom is pretty basic. I just put some little plant and I just put a bedside table and a lamp and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's all I did. Not even a lamp, just got a little candle. And I think that's literally all I did up here because there wasn't room for anything else. The main focus was kind of the downstairs, which is why I did the bedroom first, because I didn't want to end the build with a boring bedroom. But somewhere around this time, or not around this time quite yet, but as I was about to start furnishing the living room, I had this realization, oh, here's where it happens, that I needed to put a bathroom in. And I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? I did not account for that when I placed these big windows on the side over here. So we kind of tried to figure it out, but it ends up going in the corner right there with the windows. Originally, my plan was to just put like that 3x1 thing and just have the door in the middle and then a shower and a toilet, and then they would just use the kitchen sink. But I felt like that didn't give enough room in the kitchen for activities. I don't know. So I put it over here, and I did some interesting things with the layout of it that I usually would never do. Like, I never put toilets up against windows. That's weird to me. So I put a curtain there, and then I thought about doing a weird thing with that room divider mirror situation, but I didn't do that. And then I kind of put that stand mirror in front of the window to give it a little bit more privacy. And my vision with the curtains that I put around is that they're kind of on like a system where they can slide across all the windows in the house. Like, they're bunched up right now, but you could like extend them across all of the windows if you wanted to close off the house. And something on my desk is rattling. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like every time I move my arm on the desk, the thing rattles. What is it? I think it's my coffee cup, but I don't really know. I'm going to take my arm off the desk, and that should fix things. And, I kind of had an issue with what to do with the living room. I wanted to use the laundry day, the sofas and chair and stuff, but I felt like the colors were a little bit too bright for the space, so I just decided to make everything look kind of mismatched, so it wasn't such a big deal. And I used that same color wicker with the different cushions because I thought that kind of went along with the idea that they just have a bunch of furniture thrown together. And especially if like someone downsizes into a tiny house, or maybe they're just like, this is their first house that they've been able to own. They either have just gotten a bunch of random things cheaply, or like from friends and stuff that don't necessarily go together, or they have only picked the things that they really wanted to go in their little like beach shack. And it doesn't necessarily go together because it's from like all over their bigger house, if that makes sense. So yeah. Ooh, also that little shelf had the perfect spot for those books that I love putting in my kitchens, the set of cookbooks, and I just smacked my headphones so hard that hurt my ear. I don't think you heard that because it was just like my hand hitting plastic, but that hurt. Whoops. I feel like I do that all the time, like every other voiceover. I'm like, oh, I just smacked my headphones. It's an issue. I need to fix this. Oh, also, okay, I had to compromise a lot of my pet peeves in this build. I put cabinets in front of windows, and I am ashamed, but it was necessary, and I didn't want to lose the windows, so I felt like these cabinets were kind of like movable, you know? I don't know. I was trying to justify it in my head by the cabinet choice that I made, or the counter choice that I made, but I really feel like there's no excuse for the cabinets in front of the counters in front of the windows, and I am, yeah, it's not okay, but it is okay. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it, but I really don't know what else I could have done, because I liked how the windows looked on the outside, and I feel like it all came together fine, so it's okay, right? Please forgive me. Well, anyway, the video is coming to an end. I'm sorry that I put cabinets in front of windows. I keep calling them cabinets. They're freaking counters. But we do have some nice outdoor laundry stuff. Basically, my entire reason for building this little like rustic beach house, tiny house thing was so that I could use the outdoor laundry stuff, and then we just plop it in at the end. Like, it doesn't mean anything, but it meant a lot to me. That was the whole reason for this build. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe for more builds, and that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Bye!